for Brad and SOS. Oh, there he is. And Brad, we're missing Brad. Anyone from SOB, SUB, y'all want to talk to? Whoever it is, come on.
Thank you, guys.
These are our partners. There's one special person on this table, but he wasn't supposed to really be on the panel. But the words get lost in translation, but it's okay. You can come on over here, and we have one more person coming, so I'm going to get another chair. Thank you all one more time for your amazing work that you're doing. And our moderator for this panel is none other than our hospital responder here for Guns Down Life Up, Miss Mildred Mason.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, thank you all for coming out. Thank you that we all work together, collaborating to be sure that we can stop this senseless gun violence. Okay, so we have it on sheet tonight. So we're gonna start with you guys introducing yourself and what you do and your organization. You would like to start?
Good day, everybody. My name is Kevin Williams. I'm an outreach worker at Crown Heights SOS. Do I say anything else? That's it? Okay.
Hi there, I'm Shafali Welch. I live in Brooklyn with my husband and 2 kids, and I'm the New York City co-lead for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America.
Again.
We can share this. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keith Howard. I'm the Commissioner for the Department of Youth and Community Development. I was appointed by Mayor Eric Adams on June 19th of last year. DYCD runs all of your youth services programs. In addition to the youth services programs, we also have anti-poverty programs in various communities, including the Bronx. DYCD is the largest youth bureau in the country. So thank you very much.
How you doing? My name is Marvin Rutherford, and I'm an outreach worker in Jacoby, Stand Up to Violence.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Williams. I'm an outreach worker for Brad.
Thank you, guys. So we would like for you guys to tell your background on how it led you to become an outreach worker or the positions y'all hold at the Carriers Bank.
Okay, I go back again. I like the name Kev better than Kevin, unless you're my mom or something. I started off as a participant for my supervisor now, Dequan Stanley. In my neighborhood, I can't say I was the poster child for everything good. So I was like the anti-poster child. I grew up in a West Indian household with 4 other siblings. You know, seeing my mom go through so much, I turned to the streets, and that was my home for a little while. Then I got people like my supervisor now, Lincoln Stanley, that was always looking out for me, but I was very rebellious because my dad wasn't in the picture. So I didn't understand what type of form of trauma I was going through as a kid, but I was facing a serious stage of trauma. I related my life to the Crips. I am still affiliated with the gang. I'm not a gang banger like I always tell people. I'll get that information later on when I speak some more. But I did 2 state bids. My first one was in 2011. I did 18 months. I came home and I did some more time after 2 years. And I am a father. I'm a father times 4. I have 2 daughters. My oldest is 15. My second is 9. And my 2 boys who I was just on FaceTime with. Kamari and Carter, my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old. Throughout my 33 years of living, I've lost numerous of friends, numerous. I can't even count my feet and hands. Like, it's just ridiculous because it still happens till this day. 2 years ago, I lost two brothers, like two dudes I consider my brothers, within a space of weeks, literally, like weeks. So I sit here now and I feel like my life has changed into something that I want to keep giving out to the youth in my neighborhood and people that know me and respect me and look up to me and that need me, you know, other than my kids. A lot of other people in my neighborhood need me. So the reason why I put this t-shirt on every day and night because of color, because it's in Save Our Streets, is because when I put this shirt on to my kids and all the kids in my neighborhood, I become a superhero. Thank you.
Kev, thank you so much for sharing that. My story's a little different, yes. I'm a monster man, and as I said earlier, I've got two kids. And a number of years ago, after you read about a lot of these mass shootings and you're reading about what's happening in New York, I started reading about trying to weaken the good gun laws actually that we have in our state, and other states trying to bring their guns into our state and into our beautiful city. And I just looked at my two kids and thought, I can't just sit. I can't not do anything. And I didn't know a lot when I started. I still am learning every day from people like my sister Pam Height, who you saw earlier on this panel. But it brought me to meet so many amazing people who were committed to this work, committed to changing laws, committed to providing support for survivors of gun violence, committed to getting funding for our community partners, and that's what our organization is all about. Committing to elect officials who are going to help us, who are going to make a difference. So many of those elected officials who you've heard today, and how important our vote is. And for so many young people in this audience, don't ever forget how important your vote is. And I met more and more people who turned their pain into purpose, and heard and listened to their stories and learned so much from them. And I am in awe every day of the people who do this work, who have lost loved ones, and who are still every day getting up and trying to make this place better for everybody else, so that nobody else has to become a survivor of gun violence. So I still do it. Every day I will get up and support whoever I can to keep doing this work. And every day I hope to make everybody's lives a little bit better.
I grew up not too far away from here, 149th Street and Walton Avenue, 565 Walton Avenue. Mother was a nurse, 7 brothers and sisters in a single-room occupancy building where my brothers and sisters, we all used to share bunk bed. Father passed away when I was 8 years old, so my mother had to raise us here in the Bronx. Moved from 149th Street in Walton to 170th Street in Walton, and from there moved to Concourse Village, 780 Concourse Village. Started my youth movement when one of the young people from Concourse Village named Hassan Bey got shot and killed at the mall. Started a basketball tournament with the young people in the neighborhood over at the parks and fields. For 10 years, running a basketball tournament, just keeping young people safe and in a safe space. And then from there, started a nonprofit organization called Servants of All. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and part of the programs that we ran was over at Eden War Projects in the North Bronx, where we had a college readiness program and college bus tours where we took young people from Edenwald and across the Bronx to the HBCU colleges for 10 years. Grew up poor in the Bronx, didn't know where my next meal was going to be. Took advantage of the Summer Youth Employment Program. came back and worked in city government for close to 30 years, and then wanted to recommit myself to making sure that families and young people have the services that government is supposed to be provided. This mayor, our mayor, appointed me because of my story and where my background came from, and knowing that he is really driven on making sure that government works for you and that you don't work for government. We're here, I'm here, to make sure that the resources that you need, the resources that you've been asking for years, get directly to you and to the organizations that you represent. So I say that to say that I'm here, my agency's here, we're all here to respond to the different needs that you have and the communities that you have. And just starting off with the mayor and his level of investment, 100,000 jobs for summer youth, most of those jobs coming out of the Bronx, 110,000 young people in summer camp. We have Saturday Night Lights programs where we keep open community centers and schools to make sure that young people are safe. So we have a real commitment and more to come about the investments in our communities to make sure that our communities get the resources and the needs. So I'm here to be a resource because I'm from the streets like you are. I'm here. And not only from that, but I know the experiences that you have. I'm one of the kids who grew up not knowing exactly where my next food was going to be at. And my mother struggling to feed 7 kids. So I can definitely relate, and I'm here to tell you my story. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me? How y'all doing? I don't even know where to start, but I'm gonna just say this. I come from the Bronx River housing. I don't know if y'all know about Bronx River projects, but 7 kids in that one house, grandma raising all of us. I come from Long Island, mother on drugs, I don't know if y'all relate, but, I had pops, he tried, but, moms in the streets, pops, start going the other way, so, it came to a point where, ACS get involved, and, with either ACS or your grandma coming to take the big steps, and, I end up in the Bronx. So, about 10, 9, I came to the Bronx, a little different, come to the projects and, getting bullied and trying to figure your way, who's your friends and things. After a while, things start getting good and you start realizing, and you want the nice things, sneakers, you want to be fly, mermounts, all that. So, 14, I started into the drug game, young age, straight selling crack, and didn't even ask no questions, no guidance, and, when you get that feeling of the community, they look at you like, wow, it felt good, young, but you don't know no better. My grandma's income was just baking cakes, 7 kids in the house, sneaking guns in my grandma's house at a young age, doing everything. At 18, got called my first gun charge, 16, first armed robbery, multiple attempts on my life. I'm 33 now, so I apologize. As far as, life went on with all the trials and tribulations, I didn't let it break me, I just remember, I was 22 years old. I was about to have a kid. I got a daughter now, she's 6. And I just remember 2016, one of my worst years. wars in the projects, you know, things started getting intense, multiple shootouts, and stand-up to violence just came out of nowhere in the community, and, you know, so deep in the streets, and, you know, we like this, we don't want to talk, like, I don't got nothing to say. So one person, you know, shout out to Crystal, you know, she's right there, she's now a supervisor. She came to me and she was like, you know, I want you to change your life. And I'm like, you know, it was a nice little meeting and, you know, I'm hearing her out, but, you know, I wasn't too sure. So, you know, probably the next day I gave her a call and I said, you know what, let's give it a shot, you know. 2016, I remember, got my first resume, got my first job, you know, my daughter on the way, you know, things was looking different for me, like, you know, I stopped looking over my shoulder, I'm like, fuck it, man, like, karma's gonna come. And then one morning, I'm just chilling in the crib, I just get a big kick in the door, FBI. I'm like, yo, there's no way. So 2016, when I end up in the feds, you know, it was tough. You know, my daughter was only out for 1 week. She was just born. So like, I'm like, this is like, my life is just like, it's over with. So, you know, when you at them hard moments, it's like, you just gotta put your faith in God. And at that time, at the hard times, that's what I did, man. And you know, to get a federal drug indictment and they trying for the RICO and things like that, you know, you just look back at your life like, damn, since 14, like, it's over, you know? And he gonna do it, I'm gonna do at least a decade. So, you know, fighting my case in the feds, you know, thank God for my lawyer, you know. I took a 10-year plea, you know, do my time and hopefully, you know, things could, you know, I could change, get back on track. And for sentencing, you know, I had support from Stand Up to Violence, like they stayed in my corner, man, like the letters, coming to my sentencing, coming to court. And, you know, the judge gave me a second chance. I remember the judge told me, he said, Rutherford, you know, you took a 10-year plea, but, you know, I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you 60 months. You know, to come home and, you know, my daughter's 6 now, you know, been in her life for like a year and a half. You know, things have been so amazing, and, you know, I came home, I didn't give up, you know, went back to my supporters, Stand Up to Violence, you know, since I came home, you know, jobs after jobs, you know, like, you know, they've been really like working with me, so, you know, it come to this point where, you know, they gave me the biggest opportunity to save the youth, you know, and since I've been working, and that's my goal, you know, got kids working already, you know, no documents, getting their documents, you know, doing orientations, jobs orientations, like I've been really in the field, doing my thing, and it feels good. It feels good. You know? It feels good. You know, when you in the community and they can relate, you know, you see the kids in the corner, and it hurts because when they look at me, you know, like, they be like, he was out there, you know, so, you know, when I speak to them, they listen, and, you know, I'm an example of, if I could change, I know you could change, you know, I'm an example of not only change, but, you know, I've been a victim of violence, you know, stabbed, you know, shot at multiple times, you know, in the hospital, left and right, you know, people shooting at me left to right. I'm shooting back. So, you know, I come from an experience where I could give, you know, and, you know, I just put it all in God's hands, to be honest. You know, everybody have a purpose. You just have to find your purpose. You know?
Thank you.
Me, let's see, that can hear me? Good? Okay. Me, I grew up in the projects. Me and my mom, I can just say that I was a problem child. Sorry. I can say that I was a problem child. I was in the streets, gang banging, hustling. Jesus. I knew I wanted to change my life when it was my last time I got caught up for a gun. And it wasn't looking good for me, basically. And I didn't want to put my mother through the stress because she was also sick during that time. And it's only just me and my mom. So who's going to take care of my mom when she's sick if I'm in jail? No one. So that was my wake-up call for me. Another wake-up call for me was when my husband got shot right in front of my eyes. Now he's paralyzed. He's in a wheelchair. And I knew then that when stuff hit home for people, their life just changes because now it's you. It's different when you see somebody else's family going through something, and it's like, oh, damn, it's messed up. But when it's yours, it's like, it eats you up alive. You feel me? It was many nights where I stayed in the hospital almost for like 2 months to make sure my husband was well back to recovery. He died on the table about 3 times, and it was very scary for me. So I told myself that for me, I want to give back. I want to be there. And not only doing the same day when he got shot, a little boy died too as well. You know? That was real wonderful because he died in front of my face. I mean, so I wanted to give back. I wanted to be there to be a positive person to the community, to the youth, to let them know that violence is not the biggest thing. There's other things out here besides violence, and guns is definitely not one of them. It's easy to squeeze a bullet, but it's hard to do the time. You know? So I encourage the youth, violence, don't do it. Leave the guns down. Like, I don't know, it's just, but yes, so that's it for me.
Building trust and relationship is a big virtue in our community outreach. How do you approach building trust within the community you serve? Anyone can speak it.
I'll go first, if possible.
Yes, okay.
First, I wanna raise the energy in the room, right? So in Brooklyn, we got something. It's a slogan. We go, stop shooting, start living, right? So I'm gonna say stop shooting. Everybody in the room gonna say start living. Stop shooting.
Start living.
Stop shooting.
Start living.
Stop shooting.
Start living.
All right. I know a lot of y'all just as tired as me, probably. We do community events. You know, I go through a handful of different things. We got palm cards. We tap in with the corner stores to our neighborhood. We have numerous community events. And, I'm one of the people out of my team that's like, I was born and raised in Crown Heights, so like, me being a credible messenger, it goes beyond SOS, because with or without this shirt on, I'm still going to do my job. You know, like, this is not something that I do on clock or off clock. Like, I'm not the type of person in my neighborhood and I see one of my homeboys' sons or his daughter or something arguing at the corner store, and I'm like, well, that's David's daughter. She don't be like that. You know, like, nah, that's it's quiet. You know, like, I'm always like, before SOS, after SOS, in between SOS, like, my neighborhood is my neighborhood. Like, I'm one of the people, like, for instance, like, I tell a lot of people I did 196 days in solitary confinement on my first bid. And it took me to a different mind state when it came to reading and stuff like that. Like I said, I used to be a gang banger. Now I'm a gang member, because when I put the word Crip into perspective, it's community revolution in progress. And I am my community revolution, and my progress is keeping these kids alive and making sure everybody in my neighborhood is pushing forward as well. So when I say that, like, I join the light of beacons, you know, like, shout out to my big brother dog, you know, Big Quan Stanley again. It's steps to becoming what you are as an OG and a G and stuff like that, right? So part of that is making sure the people and everything around you is safe. Because if nobody around you is safe, then how are you safe? So I make sure my neighborhood is Gucci by making sure I'm good.
One of the things that government has to do is stop having commissioners live in ivory towers that are not related or relatable to what's going on in the neighborhoods. They have to come out, they have to go to the community, they have to talk to the community. They can't be far away from the community in order to build trust. Very, very important that they get seen, they get heard, and that they attend events and community gatherings and just talk with families and things of that nature. What you see in this mayor is exactly what he does. What you see in me is exactly what I do, because I come from the Bronx. He comes from Brooklyn. We understand the pain that's in our community. When we set policy or we set funding, it has to be something that makes sense. And the only way that it can make sense is if we're having conversation with you to understand, how do we make this make sense? So many times, you got organizations that are in our communities that are not doing the work for our community. And we need to be able to look at those organizations and say, hey, you know what? If you can't do the work that we need you to do, then we don't need you in the community. And we don't need you working in the community. And then find those organizations like Guns Down, Life Up, SOS, and Release the Grip, and all of those organizations that are working in the community and making sure that they get all the funding, all the resources. And not only that, but they're talking directly to you. And you telling us what you need. Because I can't, and I don't know, and I do not want to be able to present to you and say, hey, this is what you need. I need for you to tell me what you need. So that's where the first thing starts. It's the communication that we need to improve.
And now we're going to open up to the audience. Anyone has any questions for any of the panelists here? They're here, you need to answer any of your questions. All right, so once again, we want to thank all you guys, SOS, SUV, oh, we have a question?
Question, 1 second. Wait, no, we got a mic. 1 second. If you would stand. Okay, so now it is time for audience questions. We're going to take like 2 or 3. So I need somebody else to think of a question. Please and thank you. You have the commissioner of the city of New York, one of the commissioners here. It's not every day that a commissioner shows up. So we ought to be glad that we have an administration that listens to the people. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here you are.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon. My question is for the gentleman in the orange t-shirt. Did you say you were still part of Crips?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so why are you still in the cab?
I'm not, like I said, I'm not a gang member, man. I'm not a gang banger, I'm a gang member, right?
Okay.
So that's like, I'm gonna put this into perspective, right? Because I tell everybody, it's an oath, right? That's like you being baptized, right? And going to church, right? What I did was I took a step, because I'm a person of word, right? And I'm a person of spirit and stuff like that. So what I signed up for, I know what I signed up for. The message it was, compared to what I read throughout the history of it, made me change my whole perspective on it. So for me to run away from something, that means I'm tucking my tail and running away from what I know I'm supposed to be doing. Understand? Because there's other young dudes running around with that same blue flag that I used to run around with. So what are they going to listen to? You as a regular person or the person that got the same flag as them? That's how I never left.
Okay. Any other questions?
Peace, everyone.
Please.
I'm Miss Newton. I'm the lead community organizer with the Legal Aid Society, and I have a statement and a question. And my statement to you, my brother, is thank you for clarifying what you stand for and what it means. Because people have the wrong message when they hear the word gang. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being in a gang. It's what your gang does. So I appreciate you for standing your ground and informing those who are uninformed what it's really about for our community. Okay? Now I'm going to ask my question to the commission. We know what we are doing in the community for our community. I would like to know what law enforcement is doing on their end to end the gun violence in our community.
So the mayor is very, very clear on what he's instructed the NYPD to enforce. Unfortunately, or fortunately, that's not my area and my area of responsibility. My area of responsibility is to provide youth services and community anti-poverty programs to the community. I'm absolutely 100% positively sure that NYPD, if you need them to, they can come here and respond to any of the community's questions. That's how available they are. I know the new commissioner personally, and he would welcome the opportunity to come in this forum and talk about what NYPD is going to do and is doing for the community. But myself, that's not my role. That's not what I do. If you can understand that.
Okay. One more question. We have two more questions. I don't know what you did with the mic.
This question is for Commissioner. I heard you say that you have services for the youth in the community. Can
Yes.
you elaborate on what type of services these are in the, for the youth in the community, as well as how accessible it is, and how much the community knows of these services? Because a lot of our youth come from the community and they're either homeless, they're runaways, they don't have anything at all, no documents, nothing, so they really don't have options to join any type of program because they're missing, the necessary documents to get enrolled in said program. So if you can just elaborate a little bit on that, that would be great.
No problem. The Department of Youth and Community Development is the largest funding organization, and our money channels through community-based organizations that you may or may not be referring to. So Guns Down, Life Up, they are one of our community-based organizations. SOS is one of our community-based organizations. RTG is one of our community-based organizations. We also fund all your after-school programs in the public schools. We also fund your community centers that are in the NYCHA buildings. All of the community centers in the NYCHA buildings through our community-based organizations that run programs. So when they take your son, your daughter, your nieces and nephews out to camp and to museums, we make sure that those organizations have the funds to do that. We also have, and we run a runaway homeless youth program across the city. 813 beds for young people if they're feeling homelessness. So we run after school, we run runaway homeless youth, we run community programs. In addition to that, summer youth employment. We run summer youth employment, the largest summer programs in the country. Now, if your son or daughter was part of summer youth, it's because we funded it. Summer camp through your public schools, summer camp through community centers, we fund that as well. So we have a $1.4 billion budget in which we talk to and we understand the community, and we try to fund community organizations to run robust and really good programs. We also fund our cure violence groups that are here at the table. $86 million this year in FY24, fiscal year 24, to make sure that the cure violence groups have the resources to be out there to keep our young people, our community residents safe by intervention, prevention, and responding to incidents and calming down and making sure that retaliation is not happening. In fact, this hospital, Lincoln Hospital, where the community, the Guns Down Life operates out of, we fund. So that's how we channel the money to the community. Thank you for the question.
So, after this, you can speak with him individually. He can give you all the information, my love, from SUV. Okay, my love? Okay, thank you. One more, and then let's go wrap it up.
Final question.
Peace. My name is Maurice Vino. I work for CCD, Community Capacity Development. I'm community liaison supervisor. I just have a quick comment and question. To you right here, I forgot your name, pardon me.
Kev.
Yo, Kev. Salute to you, cuz I'm a Crip too, right? And changing the narrative on things that's happening or things that happened in the past, I've tried to change the narrative. I can't say I tried. I have changed the narrative on people's perspective on Crips. I have changed the narrative in my neighborhood on Crips because I am a Crip and I decided to change my life. My question to you is, what is the biggest challenge and was the biggest challenge for you making this transition?
Misguidance. I use misguidance in a big way. You know, with our lingo and stuff like that, we're supposed to be Navy SEALs, right? And as I tell people, the young boys is misguided because nobody's telling them to pull their pants up. Nobody's telling them to form a line. Nobody's telling them how to hold a line, right? When it comes to everything, we supposed to stay back to back. That's why, we gonna go with the lingo crabs. If you think about it, when you grab one crab, they all come out that barrel together, right? Right? So if you wanna do that, and you wanna put the funk in a star way, when we hold one banner, right, we're supposed to hold heart to heart, soul to soul, because it's mind over steel and heart. You know how heart of stone, mind of steel, like, you know how the whole function go. But at the same time, it's misguidance because you got so-called big homies that's still 19 and 21 and stuff like that still live with their moms, so they don't know how to pick up responsibilities because they can't even wash dishes at night. So you got those being big homies, and then the little homies coming up are 11 and 12. So who they listen to, the NBA young boys or the J. Coles? You know what I'm saying? So like what you gotta do is you get your first group and you do something with them, right? And when you got that function, then you go get your other group. And now you start talking to parents. And what you gotta keep doing is building your character. Become that beacon and don't give up, cuz.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. Thank you for being here. SOS, Moms Demand Action, SUV, Bragg, and to you, Mr. Commissioner, we thank you so much. Can we give our panelists one more round of applause? Now, this is our final panel, our youth panel.